Guys, what's up? It's Dave, Mr. White Ellis 1. Thank you for joining me today in the carburetorsuck.com garage. Got a beautiful day going on. Look at that blue sky. It's supposed to be about 80. It's Halloween. Got the little ones. My wife's making them some minion costumes. One's gonna be good and one's gonna be evil. And it's gonna be hard to decide which one's gonna be evil since they switch up all the time. So anyways, I know we talked about boxing the frame. I think I'm just gonna go with some 1/8 inch material. I think that would be enough to beef it up and to get that flex out of there. I was thinking about going with 3/16, but I just think that might be a little bit of overkill. So anyways, I'm gonna get going. I think I'm gonna just keep taking stuff off. I'm gonna probably get the fenders off and get the hood off, and because I'm gonna eventually take the cab off. So I might get all those cab bolts loose and make sure everything's good, and then I don't know how much time I'm gonna have today, but try to do as much to the truck as I can today with what little time I have, and then probably tomorrow I'll get over here and I'll just get this sucker separated, and way I can get this over to my buddy. So I'm planning on taking that to him tomorrow, or I mean on Monday. So anyways, so that's it. Here we go. Kind of gives me an idea of if I'm going to dub nose, what I'm going to have to do. I'm either going to have to slice off a little bit of that firewall or take out some of the inner fender to get it to come in. That ain't even really in very much. Check it out. Yeah, something like that. Hopefully it can stick out too far, but I don't know. Looks like I can probably just take out enough out of that fender area right there. I want to cut the firewall, I think. So, anyway, so that kind of gives me an idea of what it might look like, what it could look like. So, anyways. Got a little bit of work done on the truck yesterday. I got the fenders off and I don't know, the hood off. The hood's kind of heavy. Should have probably done it with a partner, but it went okay. I didn't drop it on my head or anything. Didn't bump any other cars, so it was a good thing. So I gained an hour today. It's what, spring, fall, back, forward? I don't know, something like that. But anyways, we get an extra time, daylight savings, and got up, got the kids to the park. Yeah, it was good. So got all that stuff done and out of the way, and it's not even noon. So I think I'm going to run up to the wrecking yard. We'll take a look at what's out there, and it'll be a fun time. So let's do it. Well, yeah, it looks like a pretty busy day out here at the pick fire. Figured it would be with the weather so beautiful. Beautiful. Goodness, can't even talk. Anyways, looks like I got a parking spot, so that's good. I've been out here sometimes, can't even find a freaking parking spot. Let's see if I can see one over here. Let's see if I can find one in the back. A little easier to park. Yeah, there's a couple back here. Couple back here. Works for me. How about you? Forward section again. It's all the cars on that side. A whole bunch of them. We'll get to the Chevys here soon. So interestingly enough, I was told that the early S10s had a 411 PCM, and look at that. Blue and red. Look at that. Found that just laying on the ground. 411. That'll work, huh? Alright, well here we go. Here is a Suburban. And these are probably 56s. They may be 52s. But either way, I can run both of them. I don't care. But I like finding easy. So somebody has already pulled the U-bolts off. And now I just got to pull the springs. And the axle's held up by the shock. So that's kind of cool. So that ought to be pretty easy to get off of there. So yeah. Let's do it. Alright guys, I ended up finding another Suburban. The other one, the front hanger, I couldn't get to the back nut to hold it, so I ended up finding this one. I'm pretty sure this has the 56s. So you can see the way that hanger is over there, like on this one. I think these are 56s, but I'll get home and measure them. 56, 52, it doesn't really matter to me, so 56s will give me more. And plus there's more in this spring pack, so I can, you know, take them out or add whatever I want. So anyhow, keep going here. Everything, I just brought some WD with me and everything looks pretty fresh, so I'm almost done with this one, and then I got to get on the other side. Alright, well, score on this side. Somebody already pulled the spring hanger, or not spring hanger, but the U-bolt's loose. Anyways, so yeah, that's out of my way already. Here we go. Well guys, it was a really good outing at the wrecking yard. The weather was pretty good. It was kind of not really warm. You know, it was good. I pretty much sat in the shade, ended up pulling leaf springs off of a Suburban, like a 90-ish Suburban. So I think that they're 56s. I'm gonna have to measure when I get home. So hold on one second here.
Hi, welcome to service. How are you doing?
Good, can you hear me okay?
Not really.
Alright guys, well back home here, and I figured I'd bring you in, show you these springs. They are pretty good. They're not all rusty. It feels like they're kind of springy. They got the little pads there, and all the little Teflons look good. So, pretty happy with that. And then you can see they're 56s. What I really want to do is just take and get them mocked up into the truck. And then that way I can kind of figure out where exactly I want to put my front hanger, and then I can figure out, you know, I think what I'm going to end up doing is building some hangers and then into like a cross member, like a flat piece of steel that'll hold my winch. So then like that, it'll come across down here, my winch will mount there, and then off of the ends here, then I'll have my hangers coming off of there, and then I'll come up with a piece of like 1/4 inch angle, and I'll mount that to the frame, and then I'll, you know, bolt it in, and then I'll tack it, probably, you know, bolt it in, and then maybe just stitch weld it a little bit, you know what I mean, so that way it won't move, and then if I need to take it off, I don't really have to do that much cutting. Also got me a PCM, so see, it's got the red and the blue. So that's pretty awesome. The whole thing, it was 103 bucks for this. Alright, so that's, you can see where that's the original hanger there, and you can see I got it kind of it's kind of up by the body mount there, and then that's where it's, so you can see there's probably, once that hangs down a little bit, it's going to give me a little bit of a drop. I may end up taking a couple leaves out, just depending on how it feels, if it's flexy and stuff, because I'm not going to be running a sway bar, so I don't know. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, so you can see up here, even if you were to move this one on a 56, I mean, you would be up here. I don't know, even with a longer hanger, longer shackle, I still don't think it'd work. You'd have to come up here. So I'm gonna order up that DIY hanger and then incorporate it into a cross member and get it figured out. But it's kind of interesting seeing them side by side, just to kind of get an idea. And I think, what are those ones, like 46s, and then these are 50, so these are like 10 inches longer. But anyways, yeah, I'll roll them. And then look at where the Look at where the eye is. It's like a good 2 inches. And then also these ones here, they're you know, 2.5 inches wide, as opposed to those other old ones that I had down there. So anyways, I just feel better about these ones anyways. So yeah, this sucker ought to be droopy. I don't know what I'm gonna do about a drive shaft. I have to do some kind of custom deal. It's nice to be able to have this thing all running and driving, and I can go to the wrecking yard and do stuff like this. It'd be tough if this was down and then I had to put stuff in here. And anyways, it's just nice. Keeps the wife off my back. But I got so many freaking grease prints, I'm gonna have to freaking sand them off, I think. But as long as I keep the wheels clean, it don't matter. It don't matter. Alright guys, you take care.